I hope Madam Temitope has sent the course materials to us, the lecture notes. I hope she has posted it. Hello?
Hello, sir. I posted it immediately, sir, since last week.
Oh, okay, thank you so much. So
yes, sir.
I think we are all on the same page. So can we go to the 11th slide? You know, I jumped this aspect because you people were not with the material, and it did not be easy for me to just keep talking without you having the material with you. So let's go to the 11th slide. The 11th slide said the figure below. I think what you have in yours is the above figure. I'm sorry. The figure below because the diagram is below. Are we there on this 11th slide? Are we all together? So let's quickly do this. We'll be having, like I said, we'll be having 4 classes, except they're going to add to it. And with that, I was thinking on, you know, initially I told you we'll have another material which I want to send to us. But what we determined that is how far we're able to go with these 4 classes we are having. If there is more time, so we can still go into that because the journey is a bit far. Are we all together on the same page?
Yes, sir.
Hello? Okay, let's continue from there. I said the figure below shows that the research process having a number of closely related actions as shown from step 1 to 7. If you look at that diagram below, next to this slide, you see the diagram there. It has 7 steps. But this activity should be following in strictly prescribed sequence. Otherwise, researcher may face the problem in completion of the research. I still have some challenges with students under my supervision. I see about 2 of them because they didn't follow the sequence. You know, let me just put it that way. They have some challenges because they did not follow the research pattern. That is a universal way of doing research. If your research is qualitative, we will know. If your research is quantitative, we will know. And there is a way of combining both quantitative and qualitative methods in conducting a research, which is what we call triangulation. You can triangulate your method, you can triangulate your theory, because we have theories for quantitative, we have theory for qualitative. The theory for quantitative, the theory of positivism. Positivism, the scientific aspect of research, or social science research, or social research, are what we refer to as the positivism. And the father of positivism is Auguste Comte. I know you are talking, you are doing research, as well as you are doing theory. And we talk about positivism, we talk about postmodernism, we talk about modernism, we talk of, you know, different theories. So you can triangulate theory combining both quantitative theory and qualitative theory. So you can triangulate. Triangulation simply means combining 2 different theories. That is, one from quantitative and one from qualitative. And when you are triangulating your method, you use different theories, not from the same, not that you pick 2 methods from quantitative and you tell me you are triangulating. It is picking 1 or 2 from quantitative, and you must pick 1 from qualitative. If you are picking all from one side, you are not triangulating. You are not triangulating. So you can combine methods, you can combine, you know, theories, you can combine even, you know, different things in research. I want you to go and read on triangulation before we get there. Triangulation. So like I said, but this activity should be followed, should be following in a strictly prescribed sequence. Otherwise, researcher may face the problem in completion of the research. In the research process, each step is specific and they are separated and distinct from each other. However, the following order relating to various steps provide a useful procedural instructions regarding the research process. So if you can see 1 to 10, you have identification of research problem, broad literature survey, hypothesis formulation, preparation of research design, determining sample design, data collection, data analysis of data, hypothesis testing, generalization and interpretation. Remember I told you last week that if your study is not a quantitative study, you don't make generalization. I don't know if I mentioned that last week. Because if your study is a qualitative study, you don't study a large number of people. Your subjects are all because you spend more time on a qualitative research. I think I mentioned that last week or the 2 weeks ago, that if you are dealing with qualitative research, for example, you want to use what we call, what's it called now? This interview, unstructured interview. I told us we have 3 types of interview. We have structured, unstructured, and you have semi-structured interview. And I told us that structured interview is similar to questionnaire, that the only difference between structured interview and questionnaire is that you have somebody asking the question, but the questions are structured. You cannot jump from 1 to 2. You have to follow the sequence the way it is. And the same thing in questionnaire, you can't change it. The questionnaire is there for you to follow the way they are being arranged. Then we have mixed, you have a semi-structured interview, which is a combination of structured and unstructured questions. Then we have unstructured interview, which has no sequence, which has no arrangement. I can begin from anywhere and your responses can give back to so many questions. So you can imagine if a researcher wants to adopt unstructured interview and he has about 50 people to interview, you know how long that is going to take? Not to talk of, interviewing 1,000 people. It will be very, very, very difficult. Meaning difficult does not mean impossible, but I'm telling you to take donkey years to do that. Because interviewing 1 person, you might not be able to complete an interview in a day. You may fix another time to continue from where you stopped. So when you are dealing with quantitative research and quantitative method, where the most common instrument is questionnaire. You can administer questionnaire to thousands of people. And like I told us last week, that with these Google tools, you can just adopt, questionnaire. You just post the questionnaire. People are doing it now. Even if you are writing your research, you can, post your questionnaire to people after it might have been approved by your supervisor. And people will fill and return back to you. The system will do the analysis and you get your work done. So with that, you can talk of generalization. You can generalize. I mean, if you are sure that your sample size is a true representation of your population, because that's what we call representativeness of your sample. Representativeness is key. I could remember I told us that if you have 100 people and you want to take a sample size of 20, and you have 60 male and 40 females, that tells you have 60% of male and you have 40% of female. Your sample size must reflect 60 to 40, meaning that you must have 12 males and you must have 8 females. That is talking about representativeness of your sample. And if you are looking at it from the religious point of view or from the tribal point of view, from different tribe, if you have in your population Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, their population in that, the general population, their number in that general population must reflect in your sample. If you have 40 Yorubas, you have 30 Igbos, or you have 40 Igbos, and you have 20 Hausas. It simply means that you have 40% of Yoruba and Igbo, then you have 20% Hausa. That is from 100. That simply means for you to have 40%, 40%, and 20%, that means you are going to have something like, you want to pick 20 now, you may have something like 884. That's what you are going to get. You're going to have 884. That is 16 plus 4, 20. It must reflect the number of the people in the population must reflect in your sample. Then you can now talk of representativeness. Those are the things you need to consider when you are, picking your sample size, for your sample to be a true representation of your population. So like I said, generalization and interpretation, which is number 9, then preparation of the report or presentation of the result. These are the steps we are talking about in research. So this is a diagram looking at the 12th slide. Research process consists of sequence of actions or steps necessary to effectively carry out research and the desired progression of these steps. The chart showed in figure 1 represents a research process. You can see identify research problem, broad literature survey, hypothesis, research design and sample design, data collection through carrying out of research, data analysis and hypothesis testing. Then you get to the last one, which is generalization, interpretation, and report. Now, we jump these first 4 procedures or steps. We just started from the 5th one, which has to do with sample size the last time we met. So I just quickly rush over these. The first one, yes, is identification of research problem. There are 2 types of research problems, like those which relate to state of nature, means that denote the hypothetical condition of what the lives of people might have been like before societies came into existence, and those which relate to relationship between different variables. Initially, the researchers must recognize the problem they want to study. That is, he must decide the general area of interest. You know your field of study, you know your area of specialization, that's what I mean. If you're in gerontology, if you're in social, if you're in community, if you are in industrial social work, you know where you belong to. So you must know the problem that are prevalent in your different areas. You need to know. By now, you should know what you are looking at. By now, you should know. So you need to decide the general area of interest or part of the subject matter that you will like to inquire into. At the onset, the problem may be discussed in a broad way, and then the doubt, if any, relating to the problem may resolve. Then the probability of a particular clarification has to be considered before working on formulation of the problem. There are so many things you need to consider. If the problem is irresearchable, am I going to have access to my subject? Am I going to get the information I need? Not that you get to me, you will now be stuck. Then the probability of a particular clarification has to be considered before working on formulation of the problem. Because by the time you submit your topics, your supervisor will look at it and have some chat with you to know how do you want to go about this. Do you think you can do this? Why don't you let us reframe it this way and this? That is why the supervisor is always there, for each of you to put your heads together. Because research work is not only the work of the student, it's a work that is being done by the student and the supervisor. The guidance, the guide that the supervisor is giving is key. Basically, 2 steps are involved in formulating a research problem. These understanding the problem systematically, and reshape the same into significant terms from an analytical point of view. The most excellent way of understanding the problem is to discuss it with contemporaries or with those having some knowledge on the related matter. No man is an island of knowledge. I hope you know that. So you can discuss with colleagues, you can discuss, how do you see this? Or your senior colleagues in the place of work before you can even submit it. Do you think, do you think this can be done? I'm trying to look at something like this. I was looking at the problem of students in my place of work. I was looking at what contributes to the success of students. I was trying to look at the background, their background, how their family look like. I want to see if there is difference between students that came from a background with educated parents. I want to see their results after their year one, after their first and second semester exam. Is there any contribution? That is what we call the cultural background. We have social capital. That is what we call cultural capital. So you want to look at the effect of social capital or cultural capital on the academic performance of students. You look at it. Even I've discussed with a colleague of mine, and he said, this is going to be a good area, or let's see what we can do together about that, and see if we can have something to do. So you can look at different areas, discuss with your colleagues, friends. Can this be done? Can this be done? Not that no man is an island of knowledge, like I said. In an academic institution, the researcher can take the assistance from a guide who is usually an experienced man and has several research problems in his mind. In private business units or in governmental organization, the problem is usually allocated by the administrative agencies with whom the researcher can discuss the problem originally. That's how it came about and what reflection are involved in its possible clarification. If it's an academic setting, like I said, you can discuss with senior colleagues. Even if it's in the private setting, you can have a chat. I've been looking at this problem. You people been doing about it. I've been going about it. With that, we can then come up with a problem. Like I always ask during my teaching in A-level class, I asked my student what's the difference between social problem and sociological problem. Can anybody help me in the house? Is there any graduate of sociology in the house? Anybody? I did sociology in first degree. Anybody?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you are my. No wonder. I know your secret. Where did you finish from?
University of Abuja, sir.
Okay, BJ. Also bad.
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay, what's the difference between social problem and sociological problem?
Okay, social is social is a micro, while the sociological is a macro. Then a social problem is could be I don't know how to put it. Is smaller, while the sociological. Sir, my head is mixed up right now.
No Allah.
Thank you, sir.
Well, social problem is something that is not palatable. Sociological problem comprises of both social problem, something that is palatable and something that is not palatable. Social problem is a sociological problem. And everything you are doing in sociology is also a problem. If you are conducting a study on marriage, is marriage bad? The answer is no. But to us sociologists, I'm both a sociologist and also a social worker. I have masters in sociology and I have a master's in social work. So I belong to the two sides. So yes, so I'm a sociologist, I'm a social worker. So every problem, everything a sociologist is doing is a problem. Even something that is palatable is a problem. Why social problem is something that is not palatable, something that is causing, hurt in the society. You call it social because anything that is social affects generality of the society. Anything that is called social affects the narrative of society. For example, the issue of suicide bombing, the issue of kidnapping is a social problem. But the one you are facing in your house is not a social problem, it's your family problem. Anything that affects the narrative of society, it is a social problem. And majority of them are also sociological problems because sociologists are always concerned with social problems. And if you are conducting a study on religion, on marriage, whatever you are doing as a sociologist, it is a sociological problem. So sociological problem is everything we are doing. You can also, in sociological problem, you also have social problem. So that is just that. So you need to look for the problem. When we say sociological problem, it doesn't mean that all the problems are causing hurt. That is the point I'm trying to make. So when you say problem, it doesn't mean that it is something that is, causing hurt in the society. So the word problem to sociologists does not mean it is hurting. That's the point I'm making. So when you say problem, don't let it feel away that it is what is hurting that we are looking at. It's what is hurting that we are looking at. Like the study I just explained to you is not hurting. I just want to find something out, but it is a sociological problem. Because it is not something I just go into my office and pick from the shelf. I have to involve in so many tedious work, analysis, and the blah, blah, blah. So with that, we know it is a sociological problem. It's not that it is causing any hurt. So when you hear problem, social problem, no, when you hear sociological problem, it is not things that are hurting in all time, in all cases. But when you hear social problem, it is a problem indeed that is hurting. So that is that. So we go to the next one, which is broad literature survey. After the identification of research problem, the researcher must study all the available literature to get himself familiar with the selected problem. You have selected your problem now. So you need to see what other people have done. In fact, it is in your study, it is in your literature review that you see so many lacuna in the previous work, so many gaps in the previous work. You just pick one. Because at the time you are writing your introduction, you said, this is what this study seek to, provide solution to. That so many work has been done in this area, but the area of this was not giving adequate attention to, which is what this study, that is the gap you have identified. That is what your work is going to center on. So you need to, go through literatures to see what has been done prior to what you want to do. You may review two types of literature. First is the conceptual literature, which is related to the concept and theories. And the second one is the empirical literature. Empirical is what has actually happened. The practical, what we can see, that is empirical literature. The theoretical and the conceptual literature has to do with you arguing theoretically. Before this class, I was just thinking in my head that when you are looking at the issue of problem in the society, you talk of consensus theory and you talk of conflict theory. If a functionalist want to talk now, it will tell you that everything in the society is functional. It will tell you the position of women in the society is functional. Women are meant to stay at home. Women are meant to take care of the children. Women are meant to. And by the time a conflict theorist, a feminist will come up, that functionalist will look for somewhere to hide. You get it? So you need to understand what has been argued, what has been said. The essence of theory is to give back up to your argument. I'm not the one teaching theory, but there's no way you can separate theory from research. You can see now we are talking about conceptual or theoretical literature review. So you need to know what the theory is talking about. You need to say, okay, from the functionalist perspective, from the Marxist perspective, from the feminist perspective, from, you should know theories in social work too. Although social work borrows many theories from economics, from sociology, from political science. So you should know how to argue your case like lawyers in the court. By the time the lawyer is saying according to subsection, this and that, you're also saying according to John Locke, according to J.J. Rousseau, according to Thomas Hobbes. That is talking about the theory of social contract for those who did political science. Social contract. Because they said man is nasty, brutish, and wicked. So there was need for a contract for man to reach an agreement to submit their power into a single person. And that was how we have peace today. Because in those days, it was survival of the fittest. Because the survival of the fittest, if I can kill you, I kill you, take your property, take over your possession. But now, as a result of the social contract, we have a government in place who is now presiding over all matters in the society. You must be broad, please. At this level, you are not an undergraduate student. You can get your topic from different areas and coin them and bring them to it. Because there is government aspect in social work. You as a social worker, you will not succeed if the policies that are being formulated are not favorable. So there is need for social workers to involve in politics. I'm working on a paper on that. In fact, I have about 15 pages already. The involvement. We need to involve in politics. We need to involve in politics because if not, if you fold your hands, the policies that will be formulated will not be favorable. So don't think that this man is taking us out of social work, he's entering into political science, he's entering into, no. You must at least have the idea of it. You should know what is happening. Don't say you don't want to participate in politics. If you fold your hands, you don't have right to complain because you don't want to participate, you don't want to play your part in it. So like I said, it could be concept or theory that the type of literature first is the conceptual literature, which is related to the concept and theories. And the second is empirical literature, which consists of previous studies similar to proposed research problem. The researcher should undertake vast literature survey concerned with the problem. For this purpose, the abstracting and indexing journals and published and unpublished bibliographies are the first place where a researcher can get the information or knowledge. You have to, at least you should know Google. Google is the most common one, but you have Google Scholar. You have other ones where you can get material from. Research, read journals. If you are limiting yourself to textbooks, you won't have enough. I believe we've gone through universities, we've done first degree before doing this. So look for journals. Look for journals, and that will so much help you. Don't limit yourself to textbooks. Look for journals. Journals are more current. You have many recent journals that can help you with your literature review, and they will open your eyes to, recent trend in that area you want to study. Academic journals, conference proceedings, government reports, books, etc. must be each depending on the nature of the problem. After this, the researcher revises the problem into analytical or operational terms, that is, to put the problem in as specific terms as possible. Yeah. This assignment of formulating or defining a research problem is an important step in the entire research process. Once the problem is formulated, a synopsis of it should be written down. Number 3, we talk of hypothesis. Please, that person should mute his or her mic. We talk of hypothesis. Generally, hypothesis is a tentative statement that is subjected to acceptance or rejection. Hypothesis is a tentative statement that is subjected to acceptance or rejection. If you are going to accept your hypothesis, it is after your analysis. Because, like I said to us 2 weeks ago, for every hypothesis, you have alternative hypothesis. So you talk about HO and H1, the null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. So none of the two has been accepted. And like I told us that the alternative hypothesis is always the opposite of your null hypothesis. And like I said to us last week, that you have your tabulated value and you have your calculated value. So what will determine your interpretation is if your tabulated value is higher than your calculated value. So that will tell you what you will reject and what you will accept. It will either show if you are going to reject your null hypothesis and accept your alternative hypothesis, or you reject your alternative hypothesis and accept your null hypothesis. So I say hypothesis formulation. After the literature survey researcher should make a hypothesis or working hypothesis. Working hypothesis is a guess made to test the logical or empirical outcome of your research. It is a guess, you are not sure. That's why we say it's a tentative statement. It is a guess, you are not sure. It is the outcome of your research that will determine if your guess is right or if your guess is wrong. But I believe the two are guesses because you have both alternative and the null hypothesis. So it is at the end of it that you will know if what you have, if your guess, the guess you had was right or not. Working hypothesis is a guess made to test the logical or empirical outcome of your research. The hypothesis assists to explain the research problem and objective into a comprehensive explanation or prediction of the expected result of the study. Hypothesis is derived from the research problem, literature review, and conceptual framework. Since hypothesis is not tested, therefore it should be very specific and limited to the piece of research. It sharpens the researcher's thinking and focus on the important facts of the problem, because the hypothesis will show what the focus of your study is. But I'm saying there is no significant relationship between cultural background and the use of orthodox medicine. There is no singular relationship between religious background and the use of orthodox medicine. It is a hypothesis that is yet to be tested. And if you are saying there's no singular relationship, I can put it to you, is because the people you have studied. There's an hypothesis or a hypothesis that says that all eggs are white. That hypothesis stands to be true until you see one that is black. Then that hypothesis stands to be nullified. So your hypothesis stands to be true until you are proven otherwise. So if you tell me that there's no singular relationship between religious background and the use of orthodox medicine, and your research proved to be true. Yes, it is because of the people you have studied. By the time you study the religion that does not support use of medication, then that your hypothesis will be nullified. Because like I said to us, the people of apostolic faith, apostolic of faith, they don't take medication. So with that people, your hypothesis will be wrong. Like the Jehovah's Witness, they don't take blood transfusion. With that, your hypothesis will be wrong. Like the people from the north, the people with Puda, if the person they meet in the hospital is a man, they will not allow the man to attend to their wives, to the female. So from there, based on their religious background, it's affecting the usage of the orthodox medicine. But your hypothesis stands to be correct because you have not studied that people, those set of people. So if somebody is telling you that there is a relationship, then you need to know who and who both of them studied. I don't know if I'm making any sense. I think I'm the only one talking sense. Do you understand what I've been saying so far, please? So I don't just continue assuming that
Yes,
everybody
sir.
understood.
Yes, we are with you, sir.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So, like I said, hypothesis is derived from the research problem, literature review, and conceptual framework. Since hypothesis is to be tested, therefore, it should be very specific and limited to the piece of research. Your hypothesis should not be saying something that is outside your problem, your research problem, or outside your topic. You shouldn't be saying anything outside it. It sharpens the researcher's thinking and focus on the important fact of the problem. Hypothesis formulation could be done by using the following approaches: discussion with colleagues and experts about the research problem, its source, cause, and the objective in search of solution, assessment of data and records, evaluation of similar previous studies in the area of similar problems, and personal investigation, which involves original field survey. Thus, any hypothesis take place as a result of a prior thinking about the subject, assessment of the available data and material, including related previous studies. Formulation of working hypotheses is a basic step of any research process. Number 4, preparation of research design. You know, talking about research design has to do with the type of research you want to conduct. Is it a qualitative study? Is it a quantitative study? Is it an observational method study? You know, it will determine how you prepare your research design. So you know from this onset, this is the type of study I want to conduct. Is it a qualitative? If it's a qualitative, you can't be telling me that you are going to use questionnaire and you are going to, no. You should know what is, you know, particular to your study, to the kind of study you want to conduct. You need to know what is unique to that type of study you want to conduct. A good research design will be prepared if a research problem should be stated clearly. In other words, the purpose of research design is referred to as a general procedure that you choose to combine the various components of the study in a consistent and logical way. It comprises the outline for the collection, measurement, and analysis of your data. Your research design needs to all these. How are you going to collect your data? How are you going to measure? How are you going to analyze your data? You can't tell me that you are doing a qualitative study and you are talking about SPSS. What's the meaning of SPSS? Don't talk. What is the meaning of SPSS? Where's that man now? There was a man that we were talking together at the time that was also contributing last week. What's his name? What's the meaning of SPSS? Anybody in the house? SPSS. That means you've not been doing your analysis by yourself. Go catch you. We are talking about
We do, sir.
SPSS. You say what?
We do, sir.
How many people now? You say we do. How many? We. Only you talk, you say we.
So I don't tell.
I do too. I do, sir.
Don't tell, sir.
So, which package are we now? SPSS, what are we now? Is it 16 or 20? Which one are we using now?
I have the 20, sir. 20, sir.
You have the 20. I know say you be
yes,
guru.
Sir.
I know. So SPSS, that is statistical package for social sciences. Okay, are you into analysis? You collect analysis and you do Abi? Topsy.
Yes, sir. We do analysis, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
okay. That's nice. That means you are going to get many customers in this your program. You are going to get many customers. You are going to do analysis for. Okay, that's okay. So you can't be telling me that you are conducting a qualitative study and you are going to use SPSS. I'll be wondering, qualitative study, SPSS. Is it chi-square you want to use? I know that. Is it correlation? Is it one way ANOVA? Is it two way ANOVA? I don't understand which one with your qualitative. You get it. So you should know what it entails, what your study entails. So that will determine the collection, the kind of data we are going to collect, how you are going to analyze the data. That will help you so much. A flexible research design which offers the opportunity for allowing the different aspects of a problem is considered suitable if the purpose of the research study is to be clear. There are several research designs such as descriptive, case study, naturalistic observation, survey, correlational, that is case control study, observational study, semi-experimental, field experiment, quasi-experiment, experimental, experiment to random assignment, review, literature review, systematic review, meta-analysis, out of which the researcher should select one of these. So you should know what is, particular to your study, to your problem, to the problem you are trying to look at. So all these will determine how you are going to collect your data, the method of collecting your data, that will help you. That's okay. Now, the fifth one was where we started last week, I know we started this sampling method. I believe that was where we left the 4 because we didn't have the materials with us. So I think we've already talked about these, determining the sample size, Abi. Okay, let's go back to it. Maybe we have some people who are just joining us for the first time today. How many people are in the class have? Okay, 36. I think we have the same number last week. Okay, that's okay. Determining sample design. Every object that's involved in any type of inquiry constitutes a universe. We talk about that, either a universe or the population. Everything is your population. If you are studying teachers in public schools in your state, that is your population. That is the population of teachers, primary school teachers in your state, in your local government. That is your population. And from that population is where we are going to get your sample. And you need to know different traits, different characteristics of your population. There are different traits of your population. You look at their age, you look at their sex, you look at their tribe, you look at their age, sex, tribe, religion. You need to put all this into consideration, because you know you're not going to study everyone except you have a sizable number that you can manage. It's like a human voice, Abby. I don't hear you. Please mute your mic. Thank you.
Where did my mic come?
So, like I said, you need to know those traits, those, characteristics of your population. I need to put them into consideration by the time you are selecting your sample. You get it? You need to put them into consideration by the time you are selecting your sample. It must be representative. Like we said, representativeness, your sample must be a true representation of your population. A complete detail of any object in the population is known as a census inquiry. It can be supposed that in such type of inquiry, all the items are covered and not a single element is left, and highest accuracy is obtained. Like I said, if the population is not that big, you can go for census. That is when you use everything. That is a census. That's census. But when you have to pick from the population, then you will need to have a sample. And you don't just go and say you pick a sample. I told us the last time we met, there are two ways of getting your sample. It's either through probability sampling or through non-probability sampling. What difference between sample and sampling? Sampling is a way of selecting your sample. Sampling or sampling techniques, these are ways of selecting your sample. So you can't just select a sample. They will ask you, which sampling techniques did you use? If you tell me it's a non-probability sampling, so I will tell you which of the non-probability did you use. And if you tell me it is probability sampling, I say, which probability sampling did you use to select your sample? You can't just say, okay, I just picked 5 people. I just chose 10 people. No, how did you pick them? So you need to document everything. So if somebody else wants to do the same thing, they can replicate it. That's what we call reliability and validity. Reliability and validity. When you say something is high in reliability and is low in validity. Now, let me quickly ask this. We have qualitative method and we have quantitative method. And when we say that, Topsy, I want you to answer it, and any other person that knows it in the house. When we say that quantitative method is very high in reliability and very low in validity, what do you mean by that? Is high in reliability and very low in validity. Anybody in the house?
My name is Shadrach. So, good afternoon.
Your name is what, sir?
Shadrach.
Okay. I'm hearing.
Yes. So, it's high in reliability because numbers don't lie. So we can easily trace those numbers on of those that participated in the qualitative research. While the issue of validity comes in because first is whatever answers.
Which of them are you talking about now? Which other are you talking about, quantitative or you are talking about qualitative? I said quantitative research is high in validity and low in, no, is high in reliability and very low in validity. So which one are you talking about? Is it
I was talking about
or
qualitative. I thought I heard qualitative.
Okay. I said quantitative is high in reliability and very low in validity.
Okay, I have to think about that.
Quantitative is high in validity and low in reliability.
But it looked as if it was on the right
Okay,
So I can have, but it
I
said
thought, yeah, I
numbers
thought I
don't lie,
was.
which is high
Yes.
in
No.
reliability.
When listen to me, when he say number don't lie, but he's talking about quantitative.
Quantitative,
No, I was
yes,
talking
sir.
about qualitative.
Okay, no.
Qualitative,
You got
yes,
it
I
mixed
got
up.
your point. When you are talking about number, you don't talk about qualitative. That's the point I'm making.
Okay. Yeah, I need to regather my thoughts. Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
So let me
So,
do expose more. Let me do as in since writing on what he started to say, which I even
okay,
wrote
who
down
am I
as
speaking with, please? Who is the caller? Who is the caller I'm speaking
my
with?
name is Georgia, sir.
Okay, you are from Georgia. Okay, I got that.
I'm not from Georgia, sir.
Okay, let's
Okay,
continue.
sir.
Thank
So,
you.
like he started to say, I'm just looking at it logically. Quantitative method is high in reliability because, like he said, numbers don't lie. So, if you have a large representation and they are saying the same thing or giving you the same vibe, it will mean that there is a truth there. But again, it will be low in validity because just how many people can you go around to ascertain whether the information that they gave you is correct? That's how I see it.
You
And to be correct.
are correct. You are correct because quantitative method is very low in validity because you are not sure if those instruments are actually measuring what you expect them to measure. That is the argument you are trying to say. That's the point you are trying to make. Am I correct?
Yes, sir. Can I say something, sir?
Okay, Topsy, I know ya. I'm hearing you.
Yes, sir. For example, I work in the National Health Insurance Authority, and we're having an issue with the social register. Now, it just goes in line with what you're explaining. We have the social register, which they say that the data contained in that register is the vulnerable of the vulnerable people in Nigeria. But you and I know that the data in that social register is not, we can't really validate it. Why? Because some of these things were sent to honorable members and senators who were supposed to give us the vulnerable people in their society. And we know that it's their relatives that are even more comfortable, both in diaspora, that they loaded in that social register.
Thank
So you
you.
cannot validate this, despite we have a lot of number in the social register, that we have a lot of high population of vulnerable
my
people.
God.
The validation is you can't really validate the people, the content of that, the numbers in the data in the social register. Thank you, sir.
So you can see quantitative is very high in reliability. It simply means it can easily be replicated. It can be replicated by anybody. But how far are you sure that it is measuring what you want it to measure? So that is where it is low in validity, but high in reliability. Anybody can replicate it. Then now we've talked about the quantitative. Now, can somebody help me with the qualitative, which is very high in validity but low in reliability?
Okay, sir. For the quantitative, it has to do with doing things like focus group discussion, where you're intercepting with the person you're getting the information from. For questionnaire, which is the qualitative, anybody can just fill anything.
Questionnaire is not qualitative, my there.
No, it's not quality. No, it's not quality. I'm relating with quantitative.
Okay.
I'm comparing it with like a focus group discussion.
Okay.
When you're asking questions in the focus group discussion, you're getting the information. It's reliable because you're getting information from the people, maybe the people directly involved in the social problem you're trying to inquire about. Unlike in the questionnaire, somebody else can even fill a questionnaire for somebody, but for qualitative, it is reliable because you're getting the answer from the source. That's what I'm trying to explain, sir.
Okay, why is it low in reliability now? There is very high. I got your point. It's very high in validity.
Yes.
Why
yes,
is
sir.
it low in reliability?
It's low in reliability. Okay, let me make an example.
You told me that you have explained that it's very high in validity, and I agree with you. So
Yes, sir.
Tell us why is it low in reliability?
Okay, so it's low in reliability because, for example, if we go for a study, and then they know that I'll make reference to where I work again. For example, for national health insurance, when we go to facilities, let's say the big national hospitals and all that, where we want to carry out research. When we get there, we usually interview the chief medical director of that facility. because they already have a prior notice that we are coming from National Health Insurance Authority or scheme, the man tends to give us what they tell us what we want to hear rather than the problem, because they know we are coming for a study, and then they will just tell us the positive things rather than the negative side of it. So you can't really rely on the data that they will give to you.
Oh, okay. Let me put it this way. You have
Okay.
done well, Madam Tope.
Yes, sir.
It is very high in validity going by what you said, because you are sure that the instrument is actually measuring what you expect the instrument to measure. For example, like you said, focus group discussion. If you are expecting 5 females and 10 males to be there, you are sure you have 5 females and 10 females. So it is very, very high in validity. You see what you want, and that is that. But do you know, I want to tell you, if you go back to conduct the same study on the same people, you might not be able to replicate, because it is a qualitative research whereby you don't have structured questions. By the time you go back to conduct the same study on the same set of people, you might not get the same answer. You might not get the same result, because the mood will have changed. Even you that you are asking the question, you might not remember the way the question was asked initially. So replicating it is not, guaranteed. And the same result is not also guaranteed. So you might not be able to replicate it. That is why we said it is very low when it comes to reliability, but it's very, very high when it comes to validity. I think the discussion is good this morning. At least everybody in the class we are talking, and I'm getting to know that I have so many guru researchers in the house, so I need to be very careful too. Abi, thank you so much. So let's continue from where we stopped. We said, but in practical way, this may not be true. Okay, let me go a step above. We said, okay, we are talking about using the census entire number if the number is not that large. But in practical way, this may not be true, because a single element of bias in such inquiry will get larger. The number of observation increases. We get larger once the number of observation increases. Moreover, there is no way of scrutiny or scrutinizing the element of bias or its level except through a resurvey or use of sample check. Besides, such type of inquiry comprises of a lot of time, money, and energy. Apart from this, census inquiry is not possible practically under many conditions. For example, blood sugar testing, like we said, is done only on sample base. And quite often, we select only a few items from the population for the study purposes. The selection of items in such type of manner is technically called a sample. So from there, we move to slide 20. The researcher must decide the way of selecting a sample or choose a sample design for a study. In other words, a sample design is an exact sketch determined prior to any type of data collection for obtaining a sample from a given universe. You must have, determined prior to the collection of the data. You must have determined prior to any type of data collection for obtaining a sample from a given universe, from a given population. There are two types of sampling: non-probability and probability sampling. Non-probability sampling uses a subjective method of selecting units from a universe. When we say something is subjective, it is not objective. You use your discretion, not something that, when we say something is subjective, your bias is in it. That is what it means. Your bias is in it. You just pick people around you, so you are not giving everybody equal opportunity of being selected. in that your sample. So there is bias in that your selection. So we said non-probability sampling uses a subjective method of selecting units from a universe, and it's generally easy, quick, and economical. I know that is what many people want: sharp, 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 sharp. You know, it is quick, it is cheaper, it is economical. Therefore, it is useful to perform preliminary studies. You can use it for your pilot studies, like we said the other time. Now, I always tell my student, pilot study is a study that is being conducted by pilots. Am I correct? Should be? Pilot study is a study that is conducted by pilots. Don't take that. It is your prior study, you know, to test the accuracy of your tools, of your research tools. So it can be used to perform preliminary studies, focus groups, or follow-up studies. Probability samples are based on simple random sampling, stratified sampling, systematic sampling, cluster or area sampling, whereas non-probability samples are those based on straightforward sampling, judgmental sampling, and quota sampling techniques. This is there is belief description of some important sample design is as follows. So we go to slide 21. At least we've been able to see the difference between what was it called now? Probability sampling and non-probability sampling. I'm coming, sorry. We're on slide 21, am I correct? We have deliberate sampling, number one. Deliberate sampling is also called the non-probability or purposive sampling. This sampling method consists of purposive selection of particular items of the universe to represent a sample. When samples are selected from a population on the basis of ease of access, it can be called convenience sampling. It is, you know, ease of access. I just pick those people around. So, but it should be stated clearly in your study that it was convenience sampling that you use. So people will not be, you know, flogging you from left, right, and center. Because by the time other people conduct that study, following what you did, and they now decide to use, you know, probability sampling to get their sample, they will not get the same thing. But by the time they've, you know, already read in your work that what you use of convenience sampling, they won't, you know, raise too much case for you. If a researcher wants to collect the data from students, he may select a fixed number of universities and colleges to conduct the interviews. This is a simple example of convenience sample. Sometimes this type of sampling may give biased results, particularly when the universe is not homogeneous. That is it. When your universe, your population is heterogeneous, not homogeneous. And heterogeneous in the sense that you have universities, you have colleges cut across everywhere. So you can't just limit your conclusion or your study to your locality alone. And you now use that to make generalization. You cannot generalize based on what you have done. So it could have some biases in it. So it may give biased results, particularly when the universe is not homogeneous. On the other hand, in judgment sampling, which is based on the judgment of researcher and used for selecting items from the given population. For example, a judgment sample of office staff might be taken to secure reaction to a new rule of office. Judgment sampling is used regularly in qualitative research. So we move to the second, which is simple random sampling. One common simple random sampling, you know, is you using these what is this thing called now? You can even use your, as a teacher in a school. Okay, let me bring this example. During my undergraduate days in UI, in my hostel then, Obafemi Awolowo, or we have too many students allocated to the hall, but limited bed spaces. And once you know that, we are going to ballot to one simple example of simple random sampling is balloting. They are going to ballot to, with ballot, everybody has equal opportunity of participating in that balloting. And you know the number of bed spaces that are available. You have how many bed spaces? You have 10 bed spaces available, and you have 100 students. It is very simple. You are going to have this small paper. You write yes in 10 and write no in 90. And you know how to squeeze it, and put all of them in a basket and roll, and ask them to pick. With that, you are not biased. With that, you have given everybody equal opportunity to pick. And all will surely pick. And the lucky one, the lucky 10 will pick the yes. With that, your mind is clear. With that, you are not biased. With that, you have given everybody equal opportunity to pick yes. And you have given them equal opportunity to pick no. Only that you have 10 years there. Not that you gave the yes to somebody and say, okay, you take this one. No. So let's go. Simple random sampling. This type of sampling is also called the probability sampling or chance sampling, where each item in the population has an equal chance of inclusion in the sample, and each sample having the probability of being selected in the sampling procedure. For example, names of 20 employees being selected out of 250 employees in a company. In this case, the population is all 250 employees, and the sample is random because each employee has equal chance of being chosen. There are basically 3 methods to conduct a random sampling. If we select the sample of 300 items from a population of 2,000 items, then we can write up the names of all the 2,000 items on a slip of paper and conduct a lottery. Can you see? Either lottery or ballot. You get it? You know lottery now? All these, they will say you buy tickets and they will take the, it has two parts. You cut one, you hold down with the number. The other part is what they're going to pour in their lottery can that will be rolled, that drum. So that's lottery. Everybody is given equal opportunity of being selected. And they ask somebody who is neutral to just come dip his hand or her hand into it and pick a number. And any number he will pick up, they say, number 266. And the owner will just shout from the crowd, hey, he's the lucky winner. So everybody has been given equal opportunity. That is a random sampling, and that gives equal opportunity to everybody of being selected in that population. This is called lottery method. The second method is random sampling. Of random sampling is using a random number table. You must have seen that turn. We call it turn table of random number. Has anybody used that table before? You've seen it. It's in your work. It's in the material I sent to you. Have you seen that table? Hello. It's on slide 26. Have you seen that table?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Has anybody used that table before?
No, sir.
Okay, so we are going to we'll be looking at that. I thank God you have it. You'll be looking at that. You'll be looking at that. So let's continue on slide 21 where we are. Is that where we are? Okay, we talk about the second method of random sampling is using a random number table. And third method is by using the computer, in which the computer is used for selecting a sample size, a sample of prize winners, a sample of large applicants, and a sample of applicants for a job. Then the third one here is systematic sampling. Systematic sampling. Whenever a researcher chooses some specific number or a specific name or number from a population, then this type of sampling is known as systematic number. You see, you still need the simple random sampling to pick a number. You get it? For example, if you pick 8 from the simple random sampling, it then means that you'll be going for every 8 person on your list. For example, now you have allocated number to 2,000 people, and you dip your hand into the simple random, let's say basket or lottery, and the number you picked up is 8. That means that you'll be picking every 8 person. So the first person you are going to pick is that number 8 person. Who can tell me the next person that will be picked? The next number that will be picked? Hello?
I think it's
what
number
will be the next number that will be picked?
Number 15. Number 15.
It's not 15.
16.
8 plus 8.
It's 16.
16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, and on like that. So with that, you are not biased. You are not. You are not. In some example, the most practical way of sampling is to select every 10th name. But if you just pick it, say, okay, I will use every 10th name, people may say you are biased. So you have to pick the first number through simple random sampling, through balloting, through lottery. So with that, you are not biased. You are not the one that picked the first number. This is what I said in every sampling is to select every 10th name in an index, every 15 shop on a single side of a street, etc. The component of unprecedentability is generally commenced into this type of sampling by using random number. Can you see? That's the best way to do it. By using what? Simple random number to pick and choose up the item with which to start. Because we just say, okay, we pick every number, 10 number. You see the bias. Why did it start with 10? And because the brother is holding number 10. Why did it start with 5? Because the wife is holding number 5. Are you getting the point? Because we said probability sampling is without bias. You are not, nothing is attached. Nothing is attached. So it is better that we pick or choose up the item with which to start. This method is helpful when sampling frame is available in the number of a list. In such type of a sample design, the practice of selection process begins by picking some random points in the list, and then every nth number. The nth number is the number you have picked. If you pick 7, then every 7th number will be what we select. In the selected is selected until the desired number is secured. Do we understand the 3 types we have explained now? Can I proceed?
Yes.
Can I proceed, or there is any problem somewhere? Hello?
You can proceed, sir.
No problem, sir.
Okay, thank you. The next one is stratified sampling. You know what is called stratification? You first of all divide your population into different categories that you stratify them, either based on sex, based on religion, based on age. You stratify them. Based on educational attainment, you stratify them. So from every stratum, because from every stratum, combination of all the stratum will give you strata. So from every stratum, you now pick to give equal opportunity to all the categories that made up your population. You first of all divide them into different strata. So from each stratum, you now select, what you want. The size, the sample size that you want. Stratified sampling is, in stratified sampling, the researcher divides the population into separate groups called strata. Or we can say that stratification is the process of dividing members of a population into homogeneous subgroups before sampling. You get it? Because the stratum you have created, putting together the strata you have created, is based on what is unique to everybody. Like I said, it could be based on age, sex, religion, ethnicity. So that is homogeneous group. So from each homogeneous group, you are going to select what is going to finally make up your sample. In these techniques, the population is divided into a number of non-overlapping subpopulation or strata, and sample elements are selected from each stratum. If the item selected from each stratum is based on simple random sampling techniques, in complete process of sampling means first stratification and then simple random sampling. This type of sampling is known as stratified random sampling. The first thing you did is to break them into different strata. Then from each stratum now, you now use simple random sampling to select them. So what comes first is stratification. Then what comes next is the simple random sampling that you are going to use to select from each stratum. So you said this method is known as stratified random sampling. Do we understand that? Do we?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we move to the fifth one, which is called quota sampling. Quota, dividing into quota. We talk about quota in the federal character. As well as Nigeria, you have quota system. Once one quota system is filled up, no matter what, even if you have the best of the best, they will tell you your quota is full. And other people's quota, you cannot, fill their quota. That is talking about the 6 geopolitical zones now. They have quota in the federal government employment and whatever that is being given. So it is based on quota. Yeah. A sampling method of collecting the data from a group. Quota sampling is different from stratified sampling because in stratified sampling, in stratified sample personnel within each stratum. So yes, within each stratum are chosen at random. Quota sampling attained a representative age distribution, but it is not a random sample because the sampling frame is unknown. In stratified sampling, the cost of taking random samples from individual strata is very expensive, so that interviewers are simply giving quota for the selection of items from sample of different strata. and everything is being left to the researcher. So they just give quota to each stratum, because taking stratified sampling and random sampling is somehow expensive when you have to do the interview and blah, blah, blah. So quota sampling is cheaper, and that is left to the researcher. They just give quota to the researcher that these people, this is their quota, these people, this is their quota, these people, this is their quota. And the people that make up each quota, they are the same people. For example, if you talk about South, you know the state that made up the quota. They just tell you from South, this is the quota we are giving to them. So irrespective of where you are coming from, either you are coming from Akwa Ibom, you are coming from Calabar, you are coming from Edo, it's part of the quota. And they are talking about Southwest. If you are coming from Oshun, you are coming from Lagos, that is just the quota once it is completed. So that makes it easier than to break them into different stratum, to break them into different, each stratum that will make up the strata. It's more tedious and more expensive. But with these two, you are not just picking, you are giving everybody quota. You have a quota for each, how will I put it now? In that population, is that dividing the population into different quota. For example, now I've talked about the 6 geopolitical zones in Nigeria, and you allot quota to each of them. This is what we're expecting from here. This is what we're expecting from here. It's faster and easier than stratified random sampling. Because if you are looking at the population, the number of people in the population and you want to adopt stratified sampling, random sampling, it will take a longer time. So the easier way out of stratified random sampling is quota sampling, but it's still objective. It's still objective because you know the number of people you are picking from each geopolitical zone that will form the quota. So irrespective of who you are picking, it is from the quota. And if you're also looking at it, by the time you now go to the geopolitical zones, among themselves, they still be complaining too, because every one of them has its own little flaws. Because if you say, okay, you are picking from the South, they will still complain that many of them are from Edo, majority of them are from Cross River State. You get it. For example, this ongoing AFCON, I read a woman was talking about since the 80s, all Nigerian keepers has been, is it Igbos or something like that? Can you see from the angle she's coming from? As if the camp was not open to everybody. The camp is open to everybody. And if you look at the group of keepers that we have, thank God we have a Yoruba, something Adegoke or something like that. We have Igbos. Even the guy who is keeping now was not in the picture. There's nothing like tribal sentiment here. If you are good, you'll be selected. And the man that was selected has actually proven himself to be good or to be better than the one that was there before. You get it? So it's not a matter, this one is not a matter of quota. It's a matter of if you are good, you are good. In fact, if all of them are 11 players and all of them are from one tribe, if they are better than other people from another tribe, you better choose them because something is at stake. But let's drop that now. But if you are to share something and it's based on quota system, you allot quota to a particular group of people. Even among that people, you see some people, they still be lobbying because among for example, the South side we talk about, which is the least in no, it's not the least. The Southeast is the least in Nigeria, which I'm not always happy about. They have only 5 states. The South, they have 6 states. The Southeast, they have 6 states. Sorry, the Southwest, East states. The Northwest, they have 7 states. Then the North Central, 6 states. The North East, 6 states. It is unevenly distributed. If tomorrow I become the president of Nigeria, the first thing I will do is to make everything equal, make everybody 7-7 first, and we now continue from there. So with that now, I'm too sure the quota that I'll be giving to the south, to the northwest, might be bigger than what will be given to others, based on the fact that they have more states than other ones. And the quota that I'll be giving to the southwest, southwest, will be bigger than what will be given to southeast, because they only have 5 states. And if you look at the allocation, definitely what other geopolitical zone will be collecting will be far more than what the southeast will be collecting, because they have only 5 states. So talk about quota system, they have to pick a lot number to each area based on their contribution on the entire population. Like I just said to us, the south, the north, east, northwest has 7 states, and definitely they will have larger portion. They will have larger portion because they have 7 states. Even if you look at it from the house, they have larger number. Because if from every state you have 3 representatives in the Senate, definitely that tells you from the northwest, they will have 21 representatives in the House. That's something. They have 21. While the likes of North Central, Northeast, they will have 18. Southwest, we have 18. South, we have 18. And from the House, they will have 15. You get it? So if the North should team up against the South, definitely they will win us. Because you have 18 plus 15. They will win the South. And the North have 21, 18. So definitely they have upper hand. So definitely what will be allotted to them will be more. The quota that will be allotted to them will be more. I don't know if you understand that. So we move straight to that table of random number. Are we there? Slide 26.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's first of all go to slide 27 and
Yes,
let us
sir.
look at the note there. How to use a random number table or table of random number. Let's assume that we have a population of 185 students, and each student has been assigned a number from 1 to 85. Suppose we wish to sample 5 students, although we will normally sample more. We will use 5 for the example, for this example. Since we have a population of 185, and 185 is a 3-number digit. Do you get that? 185 is a 3-digit number. 185. That is it is in 100. We need to use the first 3 digits of the number listed on the chart. We close our eyes, or randomly we can pick a number like we did use the lottery and blah, blah, blah. We close our eyes and randomly point to a spot on the chart. For this example, we assume that we select 20,631 in the first column. We interpret that number to be 206, first 3 digits. Since we don't have the number of our population with the number, we go down to the next number, 889. Now, I just wanted us to read this before we now go to the number, to the table. Now, let's go to the table now. Are we there?
Yes, sir.
Are we there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, you can use your table either horizontally or vertically. You can use it
Yes, we are here, sir.
horizontally or vertically. That means you can start from 61,424, 20,419, 86,546, and 517. That is horizontally. Am I correct? Then the next one will be 90,222, 27,993, 44,952, then 66,762. That is horizontally. Then we can as well use vertically, starting with 6,000, 61,422, 424, 90,222, 50,349, 85,376, 2,429, 90,519, 20,631, 89,190. Then we move to the next row now. You move to the next row, which is 20,000. That is talking about vertically. Do you get that now? Vertically or horizontally? You can, but if you are doing horizontally, you must know you are doing horizontally. If you are doing vertically, you must know you are doing vertically. Now, like we said, in that example that we talked about, the population is 185. And let's assume that we close our eyes. Okay, let's even leave closing our eyes to it. Let's open our eyes now. If you want to go vertically, remember, because 185 is in 100. Do you understand that? It's in 100. So what we are concerned with are the first three numbers. For example, what we are concerned with the first number is 614. If I are going horizontally, the next one will be 204. The next one will be 865. Then the next one will be what? 5. Do we understand?
Yes, sir.
No, let's go back again. Everybody's not saying yes, sir. Now listen. From that example on slide 27, we said we have 185 students. And we need just a sample size of 5. And you know 185. If a number is 186, it is not part of it because it is more than the number of students. It is more than the population. Are you getting my point? The total population is 185. So every number that we include your selection will be from 1 to 185. Am I making sense? Please respond, please. Am I making sense?
You are.
Yes.
Now,
Yes, sir.
if you have to go horizontally, we want to select. Now, the first number is 614. Is it part of our number?
No, sir.
No, sir.
The next one is 204. Is it part of our number?
No, sir.
I didn't hear you, please.
No, sir.
No, sir.
The next one is 865. Is it going to be part of it?
No, sir.
No,
Because
sir.
our population is not up to 200. It's not up to 185, 86. So anything above 186 will not be selected. Then the next one is 5. Is it going to be selected?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the first person we pick is a person with number 5. Are you getting it? So we go to the next line, the next column. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. What is the number there?
902.
Are you going to select that?
No, sir.
The next number is what?
279.
Are you going to select that?
No, sir.
What is the next number?
49.
49.
Will it be selected?
Yes.
Sir.
Thank you so much. What is the next number?
667.
Are you going to select that?
No, sir.
Okay, let's go to the next column. What's the next number there?
503.
Are we going to select that?
No, sir.
The next one is what?
711.
Are you going to select that?
No, sir.
The next one is what?
976.
Are you going to select that?
No, sir.
The next one is what?
865.
Are we selecting that?
No, sir.
What's the next one?
856.
Are you going to select that?
No, sir.
What's the next one?
100.
Are you going to select that?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Okay, what is the next one?
82.
Are you going to select that?
Yes, sir.
What's the next one?
759.
Please, it's like some people are confused. Oh, they are lost. So it's not everybody that is talking. Oh. Some people are just getting it. So you know some people behind.
I'm following, sir, but I don't know how to apply. Maybe let me just follow to the end. Maybe it will make sense.
That is, I know it's not everybody that is talking. Everybody must understand. I don't mind stopping here today. Everybody must understand. Now, madam, why some people are saying yes sir, no sir, and they are getting it correctly is because they know the total population. The total population of students is 185. Anything above 185 will not be selected. And again, we are only considering the first 3 digits because the number we are dealing with is in 100. 185 is in 100. For example, if the number we are dealing with is 99, let me say 99. Now, class, let's keep that 185 in our mind. Because of other people, let's go back and now we did horizontally. Okay, I wanted us to go vertically. Let's still continue horizontally. When we're able to finish horizontally, then we go vertically. Now let's maintain that horizontally. We have a population of 99 students, and we want to pick sample. I don't want to say the number of sample, but now let's go the same way we went. Please, who is that person that said no, sir, that he would just want to follow to them? Who is that person?
It's me, sir.
Okay, please, I want you to participate actively now. Remember, the total population is what?
99.
99.
We are not going to pick anything above 99. And now, since our number is 99, how many digits are we going to consider?
The first 2, sir.
Oh my good God, you people are so wonderful. So we are going to consider the first 2 numbers. Are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
I'm telling you, virtually everybody will be considered. Okay, let's pick a smaller number. Let's say our population is 50. Are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Let's say our population is 50, and we're going to consider the first 2 digits. Now, let's go horizontally. The first number there is 61. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Will it be selected?
No, sir.
Why?
Because it's one is above 50.
61 is above 50. The next number is what?
20.
20.
Will it be selected?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
The next number is what?
86.
Will it be selected?
No, sir.
The next number is what?
51.
No.
0.
Zero.
Zero.
You get it?
Yes.
So there's nothing like 0. That nothing is allotted there. Now the next number is what?
90.
Are we going to pick that?
No, sir.
No.
The next one is what?
27.
27.
Are you going to pick that?
Yes, sir.
The
Yes.
next one is what?
97.
4. 04.
04.
Are we going to pick that? Is it 4? Are you sure it's 4?
Yeah.
04, yes, sir.
It's 4.
Okay, are
04.
we going to pick that?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
The next one is what?
60.
66.
Are we going to pick that?
No, sir.
The next one is what?
50.
50.
Are we going to pick that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
because
yes.
50 is the total
It's
point, is
50.
the sample, is the population of the class.
Oh,
So you are going to pick 50. Do we understand that?
Yes.
yes, sir.
Do I still have some people who are confused so we can go back again? Everybody, I don't understand.
It's not clear to me, sir.
It's not clear to you.
Yes.
Okay. You know, I said something I don't mind. I've always been having this issue when I got here in the previous class. And I will stay and make sure that everybody, the only thing that I don't want some people that will now come and join next week because we have to go back again. You can't just look at the table and me looking at it and understand it. Now, the first example we had was 185. Now, please, those who don't understand, can you just identify by raising up your hand? Let me just see how many people don't understand. So those are the people I want to talk. I don't want other people to talk. Let me see your hand. Use the section to raise up your hand that you don't understand. Let me see the number of people. So those are the people I want to talk. Please, please, I'm begging us. So I want everybody to understand. Yeah, I want to understand. So now, those of us that we do understand, let's go back again. The population number will determine how many digits you are going to use. You are going to pick. If the population is in thousands, that means you are going to pick, if it is in units of thousands, you are going to pick the first 3 numbers. As you can see, we have 5-digit numbers here. That is in tens of thousands. But if the population you have, please mute your mic, please. Please mute your mic. Please mute your mic. Now, if your population is in tens of thousands, then we are going to use all the digits we have here. But if your population is in unit of thousands, that is between 1,000 and 9,000 and something, at least not up to 10,000, we are going to use the first 4 figures or first 4 digits for whatever you want to select. Now, if it is in 100, you are going to select the first 3 digits. For example, if you are to go horizontally and our population is in 100, but in what 100 are we talking about? We also determine, is it in 100 or in 200 or in 900? If your population is in 100, so anything above 100 will not be considered. Then what follows after your 100 in your population will also count. For example, if it is 150, if your population is 150, anything above 150 will not be considered. Now, the population we have in that examples in this material said our population is 185. So anything above 185 will not be considered in that sample. That was why when I said 614 The people said no. 204, they said no. 865, they said no. Because all are more than 185. Even if I had mentioned 186, they will have said no. Because 186 is more than 185. And when we go to the third one, the fourth one, it is 5. Like as we said, you consider the first 3 digits. And because our population, definitely, if we have 185 people and you have assigned number to all of them, definitely somebody must have been given number 5. Somebody must have been given 005. Because the first number will be 001, 002. Why do we have 2 zeros? Because we are dealing with 100. And even we are dealing with 1,000 to be 0001. That would be the number 1 person. But because we are dealing with 3, we are dealing with hundreds. So the number will start with 001, 002, 003, 004, 005. And now the number 4th person there is 005. Sorry, the 4th number horizontally is 005. The first column, number 4, is 005. Because it is less than 185. That person will be the number 1 person in the sample. Then we go to the second column. We have 902 is far above 185. It will not be selected. You have 279. It will not be selected. Then the next one there is 49, 049. Because by the time you get to 009, the next one will be 010, 011, 012. We have gotten to units. So we have gotten to tens. We have less units. So the tens will be 010, 011, 012, 013, up to 040, that is 40, 041. So the next one we have here is 049. So that will be the second person that will be considered, because 49 is less than 185. Then the next one is 667. It will not be considered because it is far above 185. The next one is 509. It will not be considered. The next one is 711, not considered. 976, not considered. 865, not considered. 856, not considered. The next one is 100. It will be considered because 100 is less than 185. Then the next one is 82. The person will be considered too because 82 is less than 185. Then we go to the next one, 259. It will not be considered because it is far more than 185. You go to the next one, which is 24. The person will be considered. The person giving that number will be considered. Why? Because 24 is less than 185. The next one is 197. It's a bit more than 185. It will not be considered. The next one is 153. The person with that number will be considered because 153 is less than 185. The next number is 438. The person will not be considered. The next one is 905. It will not be considered. 619 will not be considered. 401 will not be considered. The next one is 158. The person will be considered because 158 is less than 185. The next one is 206, not considered. 889, not considered. 196, not considered. 896, not considered. 899, not considered. 787, not considered. 164 will be considered because 164 is less than 185. The last one is 279. It will not be considered because it is more than 185. Do you understand now?
Yes, sir. I got it. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Ah, Father. Jesus Christ.
Adult education.
You said what?
Adult education.
My God.
Well done, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Now, I'm not going to partake of this. I want you to go vertically. And we want to use that 185 too. So now, what will be the first one that will be considered? What is we consider the first row because we are going vertically now. Oh yeah, the first one will it be considered? What is the first one there?
24.
24.
Why?
614.
Where do you see 24 now, Iba?
614. It won't be considered, sir.
Okay, thank you. The next one.
902.
902.
It will not be considered.
Okay.
503.
503. No.
No, sir.
Okay.
856. No.
856. No.
Not considered.
No. 24.
24. Yes.
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 Okay.
905.
905.
No.
No.
206.
No.
No.
899.
899.
No.
No. 204.
204. No.
No.
279.
279. No.
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 711.
711.
1.
No.
11.
No.
100.
100.
Yes.
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 197.
97. No.
No.
No. 619.
619. No.
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 889.
689.
No.
No.
787.
787. No.
No. 865.
865.
No.
No.
49.
049. Yes.
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 976.
976.
No.
No.
82.
082. Yes.
Yes.
153.
153.
Yes.
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 401.
401. No.
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 196.
96.
No.
No.
164.
4.
Yes.
Yes.
5.
005.
Yes.
Yes.
667.
667.
No.
No.
865.
865. No.
No.
No. 259.
259. No.
No.
438.
438.
No.
158.
158.
Yes. 869. No.
No.
896.
896. No.
No. 279.
279. No.
No.
At least I've done something today.
Yes, sir.
But let me say this. Your arrangement vertically will not be the same arrangement horizontally. What do I mean? The way you are going to pick what will come first, second, third, fourth will not be the same thing when you are picking horizontally and when you are picking vertically. I don't know if you understand that.
Yes, sir.
For example, when you started picking horizontally, your first number was 5. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
And when you started picking vertically, your first number was 24. Am I correct?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
So you may be asked to select horizontally and you select vertically. Though you are going to get, you may get the same answer, but the arrangement will give you 0. Did you understand that?
Yes, sir.
So you must be conscious of horizontally and vertically. That's the point I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Do you understand that now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we want us to go through it again and to master it. There's no magic in it anyway. It all depends on the number. Like I said, it all depends on the number, the size of your population. That is what will determine how many digits you are going to deal with. You may have a bigger number than this. You may be talking in terms of hundreds of thousands. You will know what you will need. If your population is in tens, if your population is in hundreds, if your population is in unit of thousands, if your population is in hundreds of thousands, you will know what and what to look for. And if it is in unit of thousands, definitely you know it should be between 1 and 9. You get it? So you know what you are going to choose. I don't know if you can call it quiz here because this is 12:55. You still have a class immediately after this. You have a class by, okay, you have a class by 2, not by 1. And the one by 4 is cancelled already. Abby?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
1 by 4 is cancelled. Okay, let me dash you my 4 minutes, or I should use my 4 minutes to finish. We should be on slide 28 now. Okay, let's just complete it. Okay, let's just complete it. Let's go to slide 28. We have dealt with slide 27. That's where we have that question of 185. Once again, we don't have someone with the number, so we continue to the top. This is just the explanation. You get it, just the explanation, you know, of what we have in that. How I explained to you, this is the explanation of what I did before we were able to understand that. Once again, we don't have someone with the number, with that number, so we continue to the top of the next column. You know, as we walk down the column, we find that the first number to match our population is 100. Actually, 1005, you know, you just continue like that, and we're able to solve that. Researchers use different techniques with this table. Some researchers read across the table using given sets in order. In our example, 3-digit sets. For our class, we will use the technique I have described. We may use, that's why they can say across, they can say horizontally, they can say vertically. You get it. So you should understand it is that, you know, word I should be looking for to guide you in what you are going to do. I say, what is triangulation? Explain different method of different method of quantitative and qualitative data collection. Explain the use of table of random number. I gave this to the student before I sent the material to them, but you can also use this to guide yourself. You know, I said it before now that you should read on triangulation. What is triangulation? Explain different method of qualitative and quantitative data collection. Explain the use of table of random number, that is turn. So by the special grace of God, I think we are still meeting again next week. Next week, Sunday, I guess. Abby? Hello? Hello? Class rep.
Yes, sir. We're here.
Yes, sir. We are
Mrs.
meeting next-
Temitope, are we meeting next week?
Yes, sir.
Next week, Saturday or Sunday, Abby?
Let me confirm, sir. I think
It is Sunday, I guess. It's Sunday.
Sunday, sir. 1 to 3 p.m. Sunday.
Shago, don't come back from church, so.
We're going to pause move on forward small,
You
sir.
go-
But of us.
No, you need to be, no. You know, it's like another class is coming after that, so we can't
Yes,
obstruct it. Another class is coming, you know.
So I just
I do
attend New
arrange.
Generation churches that close around
Is that what?
10:30 a.m.
Georgia, is that you?
I attend Redeem here in where I am in
Okay,
Enugu. I
so
attend Redeem here. My church is a single church, Glory Tabernacle Ministry in Ibadan. It's a single church. We don't have any branch anywhere.
Okay.
But I attend Redeem here in Ibadan.
It's not a New Generation
So I
church.
attend Redeem here in Enugu rather. So and we close around 12, around 11:30, 12, yeah. So before getting on, but no wahala, we stick to the time. At times I arrange class if the students agree. We just arrange extra class maybe in the
On
evening
Friday.
of one day. Yeah, I do that with students, but not enforcing it on anybody. Just for us to be able to finish and to, if we can have extra class, so that would be appreciated. So thank you so much. It's exactly 1 o'clock. I really enjoyed my class today. Thanks a lot.
Thank you,
Enjoy
sir.
the rest of the weekend.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much, sir.
bye.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
Thank you,
bye.
sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. We continue from slide 30 when next we meet. God will help us to finish this. Okay, bye.
Yes, bye, sir.
We doing this